can't believe after all this time, after so much searching and trying to figure this out, after so many years, we finally have this breeding project going in this brand new reptile. What exactly is this new reptile in this breeding project? Well, stick around while we show it off and talk a little bit about how things are going with Project 500 and our breeding projects over here. Let's get into it. So those of you that have been a fan of the channel for a pretty long time, you guys will know the pain and struggles I have gone through trying to get this breeding project off the ground and going. But for those of you guys that are new and maybe weren't here all those years ago, let's quickly do a little rehash. Breeding project I'm talking about is the Frilled dragon. I wanted to get this thing off the ground 3 years ago when I first got my first Frilled dragon, Tim. Problem was, I thought Tim was a boy this entire time, and that is what screwed this whole thing up for this many years, was the fact that I was hell-bent that Tim was not a girl, Tim was a boy. I had in the back of my mind, I wasn't like sourcing it out, trying to find a female for him. It's super hard to find females, even to this day, super hard to find females. A couple years later now, I'm over here with Casey, and we actually ended up going to get another Frilled dragon that I thought was a female, was sold to me as a female, but it looked just like Tim. Remember, I think Tim is a boy, hell-bent on Tim being a boy. That being the case, and them not really doing anything and kind of trying to dominate each other at that point in time, I assumed they're both boys, we still need to find a girl. Fast forward more years later, at least another year of just putting this project on hold. Good buddy John starts messaging me. If you guys don't know, this is like the Frilled dragon guy in the US. He was talking to me a little about it. I sent him some pictures of my dragons and trying to figure out, hey, I really need this female. Where can I source one out? And he's like, hey, you have 2 girls. You guys know how easy it is to get a boy Frilled dragon? 3 years. 3 years I've waited for this, thinking this whole fucking time. Tim's a boy. The other one, they're all boys. You'll never find a girl. We bought a baby Frilled. Casey bought a baby Frilled. It's a boy, but it's actually a boy. All this time wasted. All this time, and thanking John so much for properly sexing these animals and finally trying to ask him, where can I source out a male? Do you have any available at that time? And that is when John did something absolutely incredible. What started out over here as a very late season and me becoming very worried that it was going to be a bad season has turned out to be the exact opposite. Project 500 is still, well, very much good and alive. It has been crazy the amount of eggs we've been getting. Show that a world's first has happened over here at Dakota Blue Exotics. That's the fact that I actually have to keep some of these eggs in their lay boxes at this point, because my tray's filled up. Put it in perspective, throughout the last couple of these years, it would always be full, but it would never overfill. I would hatch some babies out, usually around the time I'd get more clutches, and it just kind of worked itself out. I never really needed to get another tray. Fast forward to this year, now we have over 30 eggs. I'm cramming as many eggs I can in that tray, and I believe there's at least 4 clutches in these lay boxes that just kind of have to sit here until we get the new products in. Granted, that'll come in tomorrow, but still, the fact being is we have so many eggs. It's just speaking of the new cow alone. We're already up to about 40 to 44 eggs, I believe, at this moment. Keep in mind, also late season, and the fact that most of these guys are just getting their first round of eggs and their second round of eggs so far. So we can imagine this is going to go on to late fall, and I can also imagine we are about to be overrun with gecko babies. Something else I am absolutely stoked to finally see is the fact that it doesn't just exclude to my new cow, the toe case, boys and girls. After 2 long years of just being a little bit of a funk with my Tokay gecko breeding projects, the Tokays are good, the Tokays are going strong. We have so far 3 clutches from my Green Galaxy to normal pair, a fresh clutch in that cork from a reduced pattern pair, and a fresh clutch going on from my granite to het granite pair so far. Ones that haven't been doing something is the one with, of course, it's my loner male, the one that's on loan right now that will be leaving here in about 2 months. Nothing from them yet. That's gonna be my platinum to het platinum pair. The game plan for that is if this visual does not get the job done, we will be returning him back to my buddy and he'll be sending me another het platinum male. So not a visual, we won't get as many visual platinums from it, but we can still hit some visuals hopefully in the 2024 season. See over here, there's only just 2 projects that aren't doing that well. Everything else is excelling and I'm shooting my expectations. The Chihuahua geckos, we've had a couple rough years with them. Now we actually have 2 pairs of Chihuahua going, but this girl, one bad clutch of eggs. I found it's actually really hard to find eggs inside this enclosure. I'll have to like do a really deep dive dig, but so far I have not seen a second clutch from her. To be expected, we did move them after they cycled and started laying eggs into this Project Jungle build, so maybe it just fucked up for the rest of the season. Not the end of the world, but a bit of a bummer. It's also the fact that we are already hatching stuff out. That this tiny baby gargoyle. Only a few babies have hatched out so far, but it's absolutely incredible. This is actually going to be one from one of Andrew's projects that we have over here. Incredible pairing. You can already see the color coming in. This gecko came out pretty dull, but even a couple of weeks later, you can see the colors already coming in. I can imagine this is going to be an absolutely amazing baby. I can't wait to get more of these gargoyles, man. Many times only having like one pair of gargoyles to now we have like, I think 10 pairs going, I believe. It's going to be a good year, man. 2024, it's shaping out to be a good year. Now, hopefully the market doesn't crash any further and goes up a little more, or else we're just gonna be hanging out with about 300 to 500 geckos over here. Let's see what happens. So what did John do that was so absolutely incredible? Well, the amazing thing was I did not buy a frilled dragon from him. He gifted me a frilled dragon. And that in itself is an amazing thing, just to give me an adult breeder-ready male. One step further, but let me show you. Real quick before we get on with this video, I just want to take a few seconds to talk about the Patreon page. Now, over on the Dakota Blue Exotics Patreon page, we have some awesome behind-the-scenes bonus content that I don't show anywhere else, and some great perks as well. One of those perks I'm very excited to talk about. I actually took a lot of inspiration from Flawless Crested Geckos, and that membership is going to be the DBCB credit program. I absolutely love the credit program. I'll kind of explain how it works. Pretty much for each dollar that is pledged for that membership goes into a credit account that's personalized for you. For instance, let's say you've been with the credit program for 10 months, which means you have $400 in credit. So if there's an animal you want from me that is $400, you can actually use that credit instead of money, which means you basically get the animal for free at that point. I mean, I guess if we're like using girl math, right? Not to mention there are some fantastic perks on top of that credit program already. That's going to be some discounted percentages off the animals, flat rate shipping. We have some great educational chat boards where we discuss how to build your own gecko reptile room, how to build a gecko breeding business, and how to build a reptile social media if you want to grow yours, how to start one out the right way, everything that goes into that. Whether you guys are looking to up your knowledge about geckos, get some awesome behind the scenes bonus content, be part of an awesome tight niche community, or maybe you guys just want to see the animals that I have for sale first before anyone else gets to see them, then Patreon's going to be the perfect place for you. That's something that might interest you guys. I got the link right down in the description. That'll take you right to our Patreon page where you can sign up. Thank you guys so much. All right, let's get back into the video. That is going to be this guy right here, this absolutely massive male. Look at this. Almost stretches up all the way to my arm. You can kind of, he's a little camera shy, so he's probably just gonna hang out right there. If you're wondering to yourself, Dakota, why did you put on a flannel when you got this guy? Sharp nails. Very sharp nails. What John did for me was absolutely incredible because he didn't just give me any old frilled dragon. He gave me a 100% Australian ready-to-breed male frilled dragon. That is absolutely incredible. An animal that is worth well over in the 4 digits, John just happened to give to me just because he saw the passion that I had for this project. He wanted to see the spotlight of frilled dragons get a little bit more and more people getting interested and having some passion in there, and he was like, hey man, come give me this dude. He really likes my female, absolutely beautiful red girl. We'll show her off in a second here, and give me some babies when the time comes. I can't thank him enough. This was an absolutely incredible gift. This whole time, I thought we were just getting some like random, probably Indo frill that he just has lying around. He mentioned that he's a little bit male heavy, and I was like, oh sweet. So you know, we're already gonna get a male. Absolutely fantastic. Once I pulled him out, I was like, this boy is fucking huge. I mean, absolutely massive of a unit of a frill. I'm like, there's no way that this guy is Indo. Absolutely no way. So I asked him, I was like, is this an Australian frill? He's like, yeah, man, it's 100% frill. I don't really work with Indo. I'm like, you just gave me an adult breeder male frilled? The funniest thing about this, I keep saying adult ready to breed. This guy's less than a year old and he's already this size. John really knows how to feed his frilled dragon over there. Already a unit of an animal. To be honest with you guys, I'm a little late in making this video. We've actually had this male for quite a long time now. Pretty much the same time that I got that bearded dragon. We got the beardy, and then like a couple days before we got this frilled dragon. I just kept putting off, mainly because the enclosure's upstairs. It's hard to film up there, which is why I decided to film down here. I'll just put B-roll of the enclosure up there. All in all, I slipped the gun. I've had this thing for quite a while and just haven't talked about it yet. It brings us to a video that's a twofer. Not only do you get to see this absolutely incredible male, but you get to hear some absolutely incredible news. Only having these guys together for a couple to a few months at this point in time, I believe Tim is gravid already. She looks like an absolute balloon animal, totally blown out. We ended up putting a lay box in there just to make sure to have everything ready in case. Now, granted, we might not get eggs. This might just be an infertile clutch. It would be pretty crazy within those first couple of months to already get fertile. I mean, fingers crossed. That would be absolutely incredible. We're gonna hope. I mean, my hope this whole time was to maybe in the 2024 season, more likely 2025, we'll get some Frill Dragon babies going. But it could be as soon as like next week we can have some Frill Dragon eggs on the ground. Again, fingers crossed on that. This is definitely where I want to see our breeding projects going. Stuff like this, just stuff I'm absolutely passionate about. No longer will we be worried about what's the hot new morph, what's going on here. I just want to focus on stuff that gets my excitement. We'll let the Project Jungle do its thing. I definitely am way more business oriented and business minded when it comes to the bioactive expansion, to where I can let my brain and the business part be handled with the bioactive stuff and the products that we sell over here, whereas when it comes to my breeder projects, I can go full heart and just breed stuff that I want to see more attention in the community and stuff that I really love, like this boy right here. I guess he doesn't love me the same amount that I love him. Another tragedy befalls Dakota. Come on. Brett. Yeah, brother. How does he know I can't? It's my massive biceps. I just can't reach over there. And the fact that this flannel's about 2 sizes too small. Brother. Brother. This is exactly where I wanted you, silly. Time to make a good thumbnail. If you guys want to take a blast from the past and check out the first time we ever got a Frill Dragon in a very questionable enclosure, I believe, you can check out that video right there. It's about 3 years old, so mind the production value. Maybe you want to check out a playlist of the Project 500 stuff and how we've been doing over here at Dakota Blue Exotics with all the projects that we have. As always, thank you so much for taking the time in your day to follow us over here at Dakota Blue Exotics. I will see you guys next time, but until then, goodbye.